Baby shark, doo 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 doo. Baby shark, doo doo.
Grandpa shark, doo 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 doo.
We are rolling.
Rolling and rolling.
Was that recorded? Us singing Baby Shark was recorded?
Oh, perfect.
I'll probably cut it off.
Oh man, that's the best part of the whole
That
podcast.
was the best part. We could just title it Baby Shark.
We could. I'm gonna drink one of these ketone IQs
Is that the raspberry one? Or lemonade or whatever?
They sent me 3 different versions. One was apple, which you tried. This one's raspberry lemonade, which you also tried.
Correct.
The apple one I think was better.
Agreed.
And then they sent me one, I think it was also raspberry lemonade, but it's caffeinated, and I haven't tried that one.
Wait, I think that one is caffeinated.
No, this one's no caffeine.
Oh, the ones that we tried, I thought were the caffeinated.
No,
ones.
they sent me 2 that were not caffeinated and one that is,
gotcha.
but I haven't tried the caffeinated one yet. I think it's only like 120 milligrams. Though,
Yeah, it's
I think.
not too crazy. I would say the flavored versions do taste way better, 1,000% better than the non-flavored, the original.
Yeah, way better. I haven't even tried them chilled, and that's how they recommend drinking them.
Yeah, I bet it's awesome when it's cold.
Yeah, and it's all NSF Sport certified, which is also a
So
plus.
it's clean.
Yeah.
Does that coincide with WADA guidelines?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they base everything off of water. You've got informed choice, which is pretty reputable. And then you've got their higher level, which is informed sport. And with informed sport, every single batch is third-party tested, whereas with informed choice, I believe it's randomly chosen.
Okay.
But I think with informed sport, every batch is tested. And then I think NSF is similar to informed sport, I think. But they're all basing everything off of WADA guidelines.
That's kind of like the foundational part.
This is not a podcast sponsored by Ketone IQ. I just had one left, and I wanted to try it.
Yeah.
How you doing, Greg? How's
Doing
your coffee?
well. Coffee's good.
Coffee's good.
Mm-hmm. This is the coffee that you got yesterday. Or
Life Proof?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
I think I love coffee, but I think I'm like sensitive to the acidity in coffee, and some totally jack up my gut. Like they totally jack up my gut, whereas theirs supposedly is low acid. So I've been switching over to that, and it doesn't seem to give me any issues.
Okay. I'm a huge fan of the Equip coffee. They recently came out with a clean coffee.
I haven't
It's
tried
just a
that
whole
yet.
bean, so I grind it, but it's good.
I need whole bean for my espresso maker though, so I may
Bingo,
try
bango.
some. I may steal some of your coffee.
I have a discount code for it, by the way.
All right, I'll use that. We did not do a work podcast last week because you were gone traveling.
I was gone.
Where'd you go?
I was to Nashville.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nash Vegas.
Is for the family. Y'all went to a concert too, right?
We did not have a concert. No, we just went there. We've been just kind of doing like one family trip every year, kind of as a Christmas present. My mom takes my brother and I to a random destination. We've gone to Florida. We've gone to Hawaii. Went to Las Vegas. Decided we were going to do Nashville. So I went to Nashville for a few days and just kind of winged it. Had a great time.
Nice. This is the first time I met your brother. I met your mom before when we moved you down.
Yeah, because they were in town for a couple days before we all flew to Nashville. So we came here. They wanted to check out the Keto Brick and see where the magic happens. And yeah, so you got to meet him. You met my mom once before.
His name's Tyler, right?
Steve. Yep.
Where did I get Tyler?
I don't know. Random.
Yeah, he's younger brother.
Yep, younger brother, 3 years younger.
Nice.
And he is recently lost a pretty decent amount of weight. He's kind of changed his way of eating and adopted a little bit of a low carb, ketogenic, healthier, cleaner eating. Cooks a lot of his meals. So he's rocking it.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And your mom's a sweetheart. I like her a lot.
Yes, she is.
Every time I see her, twice now, we get to talking, and she's just a good soul.
Yes, she is.
Good soul.
That's probably why I'm a good soul.
Probably. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
That's true.
I wish I could have met your dad.
Yep.
Who was when you were growing up? Who was the stern one?
My dad was stern. Well, we never really had like stern upbringing. We never really got in trouble. I can't even count the number of times I was quote unquote grounded.
Yeah.
We never really, but that's because we were pretty well behaved, I think, looking back on it and seeing children nowadays. Like we never used to do any of this crazy stuff that kids nowadays do. Like we behaved, but we didn't have social media. We didn't have phones. We didn't have devices. We didn't have all the crazy electronics. Like we played outside. We got dirty. We built tree forts. We didn't.
That's what I did.
You know,
Dad would drop a bucket load of dirt in the ground, and I'd play in that with army men for hours.
I mean, like we would like cut boards and we'd make ladders and we'd just go screw off in the woods and we didn't get into trouble anywhere like kids nowadays.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that with Rigel and Hazen, since we have some property, they'll be able to like just learn skills and play on that. We'll have like the animals, so they can learn responsibilities to take care of the animals. But like, I'm really hesitant to introduce them to too much technology, especially too early on. But at the same time, it's like you got to balance that because you don't want them to be totally inept with technology because you need it going forward.
Right.
And like I was a stark contrast to that. Like I was so proud of the fact that I didn't own a phone, that I didn't know how to work a computer, that I didn't have a TV, that I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. And I think that was great. But like once I actually started trying to build a business, it's like, okay, this is not serving me at all. Like I have to be able to be well versed in this stuff. So
it's like trying to teach a grandparent or somebody in an older demographic to use like Microsoft or just basic, how to type an email. Like you definitely want them to have some of the foundational skills.
Some of the basics. All right. So behind the scenes, we're talking shop here.
BTS.
BTS. That's what you put that acronym in the canvas. I didn't know what the heck it was, but BTS, behind the scenes. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So we had a peanut butter Hallelujah launch this past Sunday. There are technically still a handful of those on the site, like 100, I think like 100.
Yeah.
So those didn't sell out quite as fast, but we're actually making more of those today in the kitchen. So we'll be able to put those on the site tomorrow. So we should have a little buffer of that flavor that isn't sold out. But most of the tallow flavors have been selling out lickety split.
Super quick. Tallow is definitely running the storm.
Yeah, it is rocking and rolling. So we're just going to do a little deep dive right now. And to give the listeners and viewers some context here, I filmed a talking head video that went into the behind the scenes of some changes taking place at Keto Brick. That is actually going live on Thursday this week, which is the 1st of May. So I haven't gotten any feedback on that video yet, obviously, because it's not live upon this recording.
This one goes live on Friday.
Yeah, this that we're recording right now is going to go live on Friday the 2nd. So we're going to have like a double whammy of information that's going to be hitting people. But I have not gotten any feedback on that information because it's not public yet. So this is definitely BTS behind the scenes. But big changes at Keto Brick. We are increasing the baseline price of the Keto Brick from $12, which it has been since we launched in March of 2018, to $15, which is a pretty big jump. And it's super scary, man. Like as the business owner, as the founder, CEO, it's always scary changing anything because people get so accustomed to a certain thing. They get this expectation. That's what they're familiar with. They don't like change, and we have to change. Like we've been crunching numbers nonstop. I'm seeing spreadsheets in my sleep, and the reality of our situation is that if we were to keep the bricks priced at $12 per brick as a baseline price, there would be no more Keto Bricks. And I don't want that to be the case. So we're bumping up the pricing, and I'm hopeful that that information is well received, accepted, and supported, because a lot's riding on that,
Yeah. The success of the business is riding on it.
Yeah.
Like all the expenses that we incur have been climbing since day one, but the prices have not.
Yeah, and it's funny, man, because like when Crystal and I made Keto Brick, in the very beginning, like we never again planned on selling it. It was just something that I was making for my own consumption. And then when we actually started making them to sell because there was demand for it, I didn't know how to price a product. I was doing all the work. She was doing all the work. We weren't paying ourselves to do the work. So we would work on normal jobs, and then we would stay up all night making Keto Bricks. And we were the only employees, so we weren't compensating ourselves for our work. We were just making them. And then I was buying all the ingredients at retail pricing because I couldn't afford a pallet of ingredients at that time in the very beginning. So I made spreadsheets way back then, figured out what I assumed things would cost, factored in the shipping costs then, and what my ingredient costs were. Didn't factor in payroll because it was just me. And I'm like, okay, $12 a brick sounds reasonable. Let's rock and roll with it. And since then, all of my costs have obviously gone up. I've got employees now. I'm paying them. I think I'm paying you, right? You get paid, don't you? And
you pay me in bricks.
Pay you in bricks, yeah. And then the shipping costs, like people don't realize this, but like the shipping carriers like UPS, FedEx, USPS, DHL, they systematically increase their rates pretty much every 6 months, like clockwork. Every 6 months, they increase twice a year. And we didn't even start charging shipping until last year, 2024. So that whole time, I was just losing margins by covering the shipping costs. I'm like, we can't do this or we will go out of business. So we actually started charging shipping like every other online retailer besides Amazon does last year. And we've like done a few things like change the volume discount structure, stuff like that. But we have not ever increased the base price of the brick from the $12. And I would love to keep it at $12, but it's just not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Literally losing money.
Yeah, I'm literally looking at the account at the end of every month after I pay for the ingredients, payroll, fixed expenses, variable expenses, and there's literally never any money remaining, which makes scaling and growing and providing more quality impossible.
And we're selling out like crazy.
Yeah, so the demand's there.
Demand is there.
And I'm doing a disservice because, like, it's weird, man. I never made the bricks to make money. I made the bricks to make a difference. And my initial goal with it all has always been and will continue to be to make the best quality, the world's greatest meal replacement bar on the market, period. And I feel like we accomplished that. And in the very beginning, it was like, you know, there wasn't any keto products out there. And it's like, I want to give people a better alternative to everything else they're eating. You know, keto is the way. I believe in it. It's totally transformed my life. So, like, let me give them a better option than the fast food they're eating, than the crap candy bars and protein bars they're eating. And I want it to be competitive with a Snickers bar, because if people are already eating Snickers bars and I'm offering them a, you know, cheaper cost per calorie than a Snickers bar, like, what reason would they not have to just eat that and then get healthier? And tried to basically make them accessible to the masses. And now it's like I've held on to that so long at that price point that I've failed in the accessibility compartment, because right now they're not accessible because they're always sold out. So it's like I can't cater to the masses that are buying Snickers bars and crappy protein bars because they're using cheap ingredients and have margins and I don't. I would rather double down on our target customer that wants the higher quality stuff and make it accessible to them so they always have it as an option, as opposed to always going to our site and it being sold out. But I can't do that if I don't have any margins.
Right.
So I'm just going to focus all my efforts on serving our target audience, you know?
And there's a lot of people that chime in who are not our target audience.
Yeah,
and
especially like with the ads, like you get people that don't know.
It's absolutely crazy. I know we've mentioned it before on this topic or this talk, but it's never ending. Like the people that comment in on the ads on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, even just one of our posts is just like, they just don't understand.
Yeah. And
I don't think they care to understand. Some of the people that are just looking at it as just another gimmicky, you know, crap processed food bar that's quote unquote overly priced, you know. But they're also the people that don't care about their health and nutrition. They don't care about reading ingredients. They don't care about nutrition or ingredient quality. They don't care about, you know, bettering themselves. They just want to grab some fast food and.
Yeah, and I can't try and appease them anymore.
It's hard. Yeah, I mean, because you would hope that you could somehow convert them into wanting to better themselves.
Yeah.
But some people are so stuck in the mindset that, you know, we're wrong and they're right or whatever, that they're closed-minded.
Yeah, and like for me, I would just rather double down on the people that are our target audience and offer them a better option that is available to them, and the people that are just negative or don't get it and don't plan to get it, like they can keep buying their Snickers bars, they can keep buying their Big Macs, they can keep buying their Quest bars or whatever it is they're eating, because like we're never going to make them happy, so I'm not going to waste time trying, you know. And
they're the same people who just shop by price anyways.
Yeah.
You know, and if that's the first thing you look at is the price, then you're probably not prioritizing nutrition anyways. You know, like you or I go to Whole Foods, for example, and we look at ingredient quality or what's in it nutritionally speaking, and then we look at the price.
Yeah.
Where you flip the container around, you look at the, you know, what do the macros look like? What are the ingredients in this food? Is there any seed oils? Is there any sugar? Is there any other, you know, fillers and fibers and garbage? Then you say, okay, this looks good. How much is it? Instead of saying, wow, that's too expensive before you even look at it.
Yeah.
You know?
And obviously, like, I'm not trying to price gouge people. Like, I'm not trying to rip their head off because I want it to be a accessible option for them, for the ones that get it. And I think even at I mean, I know because I've crunched the numbers, but like even with the price change, we are still cheaper than all of the other, competitive products out there that offer a quality option. Like, we're still cheaper than the quality options. We're just no longer cheaper than a Snickers bar.
That's the thing, is like you have to put it in the same bracket as other quality options.
Yeah.
When you compare it to some of these other quote unquote keto bars that are rolling out, they're just filled with fiber,
Tapioca starch,
and fillers, maltodextrin, sucralose, all these just trash ingredients. And their claim to fame is that it's low net carbs, or 0 net carb, 5 net carb, whatever. And you flip it around, and it's just filled with stuff.
And at the end of the day, like, all these companies that are outsourcing and using a co-packer, like, they are having to fit within the co-packer's mold. And all of those co-packers are trying to make money because they don't care. Like, their customers are not the people eating the bars. Their customers are the people that are hiring them to make their bars.
Right. They just care about money. It's money.
And with that said, they don't have the quality control, but all of the bars are playing the same game. That's why all of the bars are like 180 to 240 calories because they're all going through a co-packer. Snack bars. So, like, you can't compare the brick price per calorie or price per meal to like one of those because we're like 4 or 5 times the size. But if you look at us as a meal, as we are, 1,000 calories, and compare that to another 1,000 calories from quality sources, we blow them out of the water day in, day out, So, I mean, it just is what it is. Like, we're going to have to do a little bit more work educating the consumer for those that don't know. But for those that do know, like, they've already got it. Like, I emailed, when this was coming, when I knew this was going to happen, I emailed several people after the cookie dough launch because in that newsletter, I asked for feedback on the cookie dough launch. And then several of the people responded back with what their thoughts were on it. They all loved them. And I'm like, all right, by the way, this is coming. I just want to give you a heads up and get your honest opinion as a consumer of the bricks. And like, man, we've got the best, most loyal customer base. Like, we don't have a massive audience. Like, there's a lot of people on social media that have a way bigger following than me. But my customer base, the Keto Brick consumers, our loyal audience, like, it's like the freaking 300 Spartans, man. Like, I would take them over these masses any day of the week because they're just better. Like, they've been with us from the beginning. They understand where we came from. They understand the bootstrap of the business. They just get it, man.
Dude,
and
that's why I work here.
Yeah. And like we're a freaking family. We had a little meeting this morning, and it's like, y'all are my family. And those people, like, I would take a bullet for those people. And they all know me well enough to know that I'm not doing this out of like self-serving interest. Like, this just is what it is with the business. And for me to be able to better serve them, this is what has to happen. Like, the numbers simply are what they are. We're not spending anything extravagantly. Everything that I go through every month, I look at all of my accounting books. I'm like, look, we use that. We need that. Like, we're not spending money unnecessarily. All of our costs have gone up. The tariffs are going to impact things that we're getting internationally. Like, cacao doesn't even grow in America. So, like, that has to come internationally. There's the cacao crisis. So my cacao costs have literally exceeded 300% from what they were previously. The tallow is still more expensive than what I was originally paying for cacao. All of our costs, like the film that we're using in the new bricks so that it seals better, so that it doesn't leak, that film is twice as expensive as the film we were using.
Double, yeah.
Our shipping costs have, gone up every 6 months, like we've said. And we're just doing a lot of different things. And in order to double down on tallow production and make those more accessible and more in stock, I need to be able to buy, more ingredients on the front end so that by the time they get here, I'm able to produce enough to keep them in stock. That requires more of a margin. Everything's just expensive. And like, I was doing some research on the history of grocery costs. And since the last election cycle, so since 2020, the average cost of groceries has increased over 25%. And there's some outliers like dairy, I think, is up 30%. Eggs are through the roof, obviously. But the average cost of groceries has gone up 25%. And I feel like people are understanding and recognize that reality. And that's what they were saying back in that email response. It's like, people get it. Like, they're dealing with these higher costs. and I'm not trying to burden them anymore because I want it to be accessible to people, but I can't realistically not go up in price if everything around me is.
Exactly. We were just doing plans and purchasing just the other day, and we were ordering, I don't remember what it was, boxes of
Cacao powder,
or nibs or something like that. And here we are again. Look, your cost for nibs or coconut flakes or whatever it was is now higher than last time we ordered. So that means our cost to produce each brick is going up because of those ones. And then there's another ingredient that just got more expensive. And then shipping of those ingredients just got more expensive.
Yeah. Everything. But it's crazy is none of these other companies tell people when their prices go up. They just do it.
They just roll out new prices.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a second, wasn't that $3 cheaper last time I bought it? And
Yeah.
like the transparency is crucial.
And for me, it's like, I don't want to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. Like if I've got an issue, y'all the first to know. If there's a concern, y'all the first to know. Like if there's a change, I want my people to know. Mm-hmm. And I feel that's just how it should be done.
You know, there's another option for this whole crisis.
What's
Instead
that?
of raising the prices, we could just start introducing like canola oil.
Yeah, make a canola oil brick.
Yeah, we could swap out half the tallow for a nice, vegetable oil, canola oil, soybean oil. That stuff's cheap.
That's
easy to
cheap,
get.
yeah.
What else? I mean, we could even swap out some of the flavors. We could get a really cheap quality protein.
We could do that.
If you want to do that, we could make a lot of money. We could both drive like super fancy cars.
Yeah, we could do that. But that just wouldn't be right, man. It wouldn't be right. No. So I'm not going to do that.
Wrong path.
But like I said, we'll probably lose some people with this because that's just the reality of the situation. But I believe in my heart of hearts that our target customers will get it, that they'll understand it. And like I said, we got the best freaking most loyal customer base ever. And
well, the only other option, you may lose a few people while this happens. If this doesn't happen, you're going to lose everybody.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it. It's like we may lose a few that don't get it, but
if we don't do it,
I'd rather do this and stay in business so we can keep serving those that do.
Yep.
So there's that. But
on the flip side,
it's not all doom and gloom.
Yes.
So we are gonna roll out this pretty freaking awesome loyalty program. Because like with the whole overarching theme here is like I want to just better serve the people that do get it, that have been our target consumer, that are our loyal base. And I'm going to roll out this loyalty program in tandem with the price change. And this loyalty program is pretty slick, man. So hopefully it drops at the same time. Like the price change will go into effect on the 12th of May, which is a Monday.
If everything goes as scheduled.
Yeah, it should all go as scheduled. I'm going to drop the price change on the 12th of May for sure.
Okay.
And then I'm hopeful that the loyalty program will all be done at that same time, and that will go into effect as well. There may be a little bit of a delay on that, but it will definitely be the same month of May. Hopefully, again, both on the same day on the 12th. But the loyalty program is pretty slick because you'll basically, you're going to get rewarded for, your Keto Brick purchases.
Your dollar spent.
So, your dollar spent, there's going to be like a points system. And then you'll be able to redeem those points on various different things, swag, merchandise, Keto Bricks, all that good stuff. Plus, you'll have multiple tiers, and then people can level up in tiers based off of their purchase history. And each tier, you get additional incentive perks, a points multiplier on the latter tiers. You get little stuff like birthday points, and get points for following on social, subscribing to the podcast, little stuff like that, but points based on dollars spent. And then you'll get all these incentives as you level up. And then you can obviously redeem the points on greater and greater things as well. So it's going to be kind of a cool, tangible way for us to give back to people that get it and are with us for the right reasons. So yeah, I'm super excited about that.
I'm excited. The most exciting component on this whole loyalty program is one of the ideas we were talking about, and that is early access to flavor launches. So that might be, I don't know what we're going to decide on, if that's tier 3 or 4, but you would essentially unlock maybe a 24-hour window or whatever we roll out. So don't quote us on this quite yet. But like when we launched Cake Pop, it disappeared super quick. But in this circumstance, say we roll out a brand new flavor, people in that tier might get 12 or 24 hours in advance to the public rollout to shop that flavor.
Yeah. So there'll be that component. And again, we're still kind of working on the details here,
so
but
don't quote us
there'll
on
also be like, I want to get more feedback from the top tier people, because if they're top tier people, they've obviously believe in the brand, leverage the brand, depend on the brand. I want to serve them as best I can. So like, I'm going to bring them into the fold for flavor creation, taste testing, all that stuff.
Yep.
So it's going to be cool, man. Like I'm excited about it. This is our first time using something like this. There's going to be a lot of things that we got to work through and figure out. But the overarching theme to all of this is we are, have been, and always will be the world's greatest performance nutrition bar, meal replacement bar. In order to continue doubling down on that goal, that mission, we're going to focus specifically on serving our primary target demographic and making this reality for them. Of that primary demographic, we're going to do everything we can to add as much value to their lives as a consumer of the bricks as possible, and just, really reward them for being loyal consumers of the bricks. So it's all a positive in my mind. It's just always scary because you never know what's going to happen,
But the best things in life are scary.
Best things in life are scary. And like every time we've done any little change, like anytime we rolled out the shipping cost, or anytime we changed the volume discount structure in the past, or whatever the case may be, I always like stress about it, fret about it, lose sleep on it. And then every single time people are like, look, you're honest, you're transparent, we get it, we understand it, it's just the reality of the situation, and we're always here for you. And I'm sure the same thing is going to be true with this, but I haven't figured out how to just like breathe through it all and not worry about it. So
Everything will be okay.
yeah, everything's going to be okay. What else we got cooking?
The guys are making some bricks right now.
They are.
Ellen's rocking some orders. I got some content that I'm going to work on. We just took progress pictures. We usually do progress pictures once a week. Just kind of check in, see how things are going. Ellen's in prep. Ralph is in prep. I'm in prep. You're in an off season.
I'm in an off season, but I'm kind of dieting down. But I'm getting leaner for sure.
You are
man.
definitely. You can see more visualization.
Yeah, I was at 202 at the height of this off season, and that was just too freaking fluffy. That should be a shirt. Too freaking fluffy.
Too freaking fluffy.
And then right now, I just weighed in. I was at 182.5, so I've lost 20 pounds,
Holy
which is
moly.
crazy. But I'm probably going to get down to like 175, and then try and hold between 175 and 180.
What is your estimated body fat at that level, you think?
Probably
Like
12.
Teens,
Yeah.
I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, probably 12. 12 to 14.
Yeah.
I was at 15.5 according to the InBody this morning. I'm going to get down a little bit lighter, which will make my 50-mile march easier.
Oh, yeah.
Because I won't have as much weight to be carrying around. And it'll make my next prep smoother as well, which I'm probably going to prep in 2027. I've been just thinking about that. Because you're going to compete this year.
I'm going to do 2 to 3 to question mark number of shows this year.
And then you're going
Into
to take
the
next
fall.
year off, obviously.
I'm going to reverse into 2026.
And then you're going to compete in 2027.
Might as well step on stage with you.
That's the goal. I want us to compete against one another. It'll be good.
Yeah, but you're going to, what if you just hack up my macros? I'm not hiring you this
No.
time.
See, like, the way my mind works is I want you to be the best you can be, because I want to beat you at your best. Like, I don't want.
What if you get beat?
Then I
What if
got
the
beat.
student beats the teacher.
Well, then I get beat. But how cool would that be, man?
That
If
would
we
be
actually
awesome.
competed at the
Heck
same
yeah.
time,
That would be awesome.
So we'll have to figure out a show,
down.
because we'll both be pros, so we'll have to compete on a pro stage.
If I win a pro card,
You win a pro card.
I'm thinking I'm going to try.
You can win a pro card. But I guess technically with your pro status was in physique though, right? Or classic? I don't
I
remember.
had a pro card in men's physique.
Yeah.
That was the IPE. So IPE is no longer going to be, I mean, they're just kind of getting swallowed up by the WNBF.
Right, but they still
But they still honor it?
honor that.
Okay, so that
like
just transitions
you're
over.
technically, I guess technically you would be able to compete in a WNBF pro show for classic or
Men's
physique.
And I don't want to, I'm going to retire.
You're
the
too big
men's-
for men's
yeah,
physique.
those shorts.
Hang
are-
up the board
yeah,
shorts.
Yep.
But you have to compete as an amateur in classic
Mm-hmm.
and open bodybuilding to get a pro card there. And then when you do that, you and I will both be pro bodybuilding, and then we can compete against one another on a pro stage, which is pretty slick. So I'm excited about that. So, yeah, 2027. How old will you be in 2027?
2027, I will be, well, in September, I'll be 47. But otherwise, I'll be 46 up until
Yeah.
September.
I'm 33 now. I'll be 34 in October.
So we'd have to be in the
So I'll be
open.
35. I'll be 36.
Because otherwise, I'll probably just do masters.
We'll definitely do open. I mean, especially you. I mean, you definitely. I mean, you could do masters for sure, but
Oh, yeah.
always
I would do
open.
both. Yeah.
always
Yeah,
do
yeah.
open.
Yeah.
I told Ralph. I mean, Ralph's freaking 62. I'm like, look, man, you look great. Do open and masters.
Mm-hmm.
You know. There was one guy that called me a day, and he was asking about doing my show in September, and he asked if we would open up a disability category.
Yeah, there was
for
actually
him.
another Instagram DM. Somebody else had inquired on that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to do it. Like, I don't know how many competitors we'll have there, but we'll have a disability category,
yeah.
which is super cool, you know, like.
And that's kind of a broad, like it's not a certain disability, right? It's just
No.
anybody deemed with a disability, physical disability, right?
Like a lot of them, you know, wheelchair,
Yeah.
bodybuilding kind of. This guy has cerebral palsy, so
Okay.
His lower leg development is underdeveloped, and he has a hard time contracting some of the poses for the upper body.
Sure.
But I told him too, I'm like, look, man, you know, you haven't done a show in, I think you said 12 years or something like that.
Oh, nice.
So, you know, get up there on stage, rock and
yeah.
roll.
How old is he?
I invited him, I think he's our age.
30s, 40s?
Yeah, I think so. But I told him to come to that posing seminar, which, we can talk about that. We're doing
yeah.
a free posing seminar May 24th. May 24th this
Saturday,
year. So
May
yeah, that'll be at
24th.
Ozark Iron Gym at noon. So anybody that's listening that's local or willing to travel, we'll do a free posing seminar there, which would be good.
Yep.
You'll be out of town,
I'll be out of
unfortunately.
town, going to the lake.
But we'll FaceTime you in or something. You can
There
like
you go.
hit
Yeah.
the poses
I'll just
at
pose
the
on the
lake.
dock or something like
There you
that.
go. There you go. Talked to my dad yesterday. He's coming back from a sailing trip this week, actually. But I told him he's got to block out September for the show because I'm going to have him smoking meat for all the competitors. And he's going to be there like all night long. So I'm going to have him sleep in the rig right there at
Nice.
Theater Square.
Heck yeah.
He's going to be just tending the smoker all
I'm
night
probably going
long.
to eat some after the show.
Yeah, you should.
I'm probably eat a lot of meat after the show.
Yeah, you should.
You ever seen that shirt that says "Smoke Meat, Not Meth"?
No, but I
We
like
should
that.
get him one that he can wear.
Smoke meat, not meth. Yeah, who wants to smoke meth when you've got meat, you know?
It's hard to inhale meat.
Meth heads are probably meat deprived. Like they just
That's
don't
true.
see the bliss in quality,
Yeah.
you know, smoked barbecue. What else is new in the world, man?
Not a whole lot.
Last time we alluded to that keto CTA trial study.
Oh yeah, you kind of dug into that a little bit, didn't you?
I dug in a little bit, but there's man, it's crazy online. Like Twitter is going ballistic. More so last week, but it's the side that put out the trial study. So Nick Norowitz, Dave Feldman, Dr. Budoff, I believe, and then a few others. They haven't made their official, follow-up claims to all of the controversy and stuff. So I'm waiting for them to make their official announcement before I kind of garner an opinion one way or the other. But it is crazy, man.
Because they're really pretty reputable guys, right?
Yeah, but like a lot of that's getting questioned from all the opposing sides. It's just weird. Like nobody's polite online, and it's unfortunate. Like I understand that, you know, if you're taking a scientific stance on something, you need to obviously put the best foot forward and be honest and transparent. And some are suggesting that they weren't. Who knows? I don't know. You know, I haven't talked to any of them, and I don't want to be one of the hearsay guys that just hear it through the grapevine. But, you know, I've talked with Dave and Nick, obviously, independently of this, prior to all of this, and they've always seemed like good guys to me. So I don't want to, you know, have an opinion one way or the other based on. I just want to let everybody speak their mind, and then I can make my opinion afterwards. But it's unfortunate that people just attack people.
The internet's crazy.
Yeah, and like people, like none of these people would say these things if you were standing or sitting face to face with somebody.
It's just like our ads that we were talking about.
Yeah, it's like, I don't get it.
It's are so rude.
It's
so
just
rude.
It's just weird to me, man.
Just be nice.
Just be nice. Love thy neighbor. Speaking of neighbors, this is totally random, but we got home yesterday. I was playing with Rigel outside, and somebody drove down the road, pulled into my driveway, and said, "Hey, somebody stalled out down the road, and somebody called me to come get you to go get them." And I'm like, okay. Rigel was butt naked playing around outside, so I threw some clothes on him, threw him in the truck. We drove down there, and I got a tow strap and pulled him up to his place. I don't know what was wrong with his truck, but it totally stalled out.
So did you know him? Who it was?
No, he's my neighbor, but I've never seen him. He's that guy on my left side, if you're looking at my house.
Oh, that White House? It's kind of down in the trees?
Yeah, but I've never met this guy. I've never seen him outside. I don't know anything about him. Crystal met him. He came over one day when Crystal was out there, but I never met him. So I was honestly grateful because then I could go down there, shake his hand, meet him, introduce myself, and pull him home.
And save the day.
Save the day, I guess. But he seemed friendly enough.
Oh,
He's
that's
a good
guy.
guy.
Love thy neighbor.
But yeah, like just being polite. Like, why can't people just be friendly? If there's anything that you don't understand and you like get your feathers all ruffled and your initial response is to like lash out, like just freaking message the person, get some clarity on the situation, and like let your jets cool for a second. Like this seems like common sense wisdom right here, but ain't too common.
Yeah, agreed.
No.
Not nowadays.
Not nowadays. How am I doing on time, Shib? When do we start?
35 minutes and 48 seconds ago.
That's about
35
perfect.
minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Any parting thoughts before we boogie on?
Just be nice.
Just be nice. We need help figuring out these titles. What should today's title be?
We should just name this one "Smoked Meat, Not Meth."
All right. Smoked meat, not meth.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. All right. Pleasure as always, Gregoroni.
Yep.
Gregarious. Greggy.
Greggy.
Greggy. That's the one you like?
Yeah, that's what Caitlin's daughter calls me.
That's what Rigel calls you too.
Yeah, he
Greggy.
does.
So
Except her daughter calls me Craigie.
Craigie?
Yeah, Craigie.
With a K.
With a C.
With a C.
Yeah.
Rigel calls you Greggy with a G.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. All right, Greggy. Till next time.
All right. See ya.